like the stars at night. So many stars. In the sky, in the lake, and in the city.
This is Razor. So Razor actually won our last poll, which surprisingly, I think there was more votes on this one than even the first one, which is pretty nuts. There was a whopping 24,800 votes, and Razor ended up with 43% of that. So needless to say, there were a lot of people that were requesting Razor. As usual, let's actually get into Razor. So we are actually going to start with our talents just like we usually do. Now, I haven't leveled up hardly anything on Razor except for just his regular level. So my actual use case of Razor is very limited because I honestly only use him as like a secondary DPS for my Abyss team, which honestly, since I already have him at 50 and I do have like a decent weapon for him, I should probably just put some decent artifacts on him and use him, but hey, you know, whatever. So let's go ahead and jump into our talents here. So our normal attack is called Steel Fang, so it's going to have 4 consecutive strikes. The charged attack is going to be a typical Claymore thing, wherever you spin, and then when you get done with it, you release it, or you run out of stamina, you're going to do like one powerful slash there at the end. And of course, we do have the plunging attack, just like every other character, where we plunge and do AoE damage upon impact. Here you can see the breakdown of those stats if you are curious. This is, you know, level 1 on everything, so this should be pretty much standard when you just get him, but you can kind of see how that stuff breaks down if you are at all curious. Now, our elemental skill, or our E ability, if you're on PC, is going to be called Call and Thunder. So when you press it, it's going to swing the Thunder Wolf Claw, dealing electro damage to enemies in front of Razor. Upon striking an enemy, Razor will gain an Electro Sigil, at which increases his energy recharge rate. Razor can have up to 3 Electro Sigils simultaneously, and gaining a new Electro Sigil refreshes their duration. If you hold your E, gathers Electro Energy to unleash a Lightning Storm over a small AoE, causing massive Electro damage, and clears all of the sigils that you have. Each Electro Sigil cleared in this manner will be converted into energy for Razor. So basically the idea of this is to press E to use this elemental skill and then gain a sigil. You can gain up to 3 of them, so basically you would use 3 E's, and then hold your E on the 4th one so that you can in turn use up those sigils, gain the energy from it, and then do massive AoE damage. Now, once you get enough energy, you're going to end up doing your elemental burst here. So it's called Lightning Fang, summons the wolf within, which deals electro damage to all nearby opponents. This clears all of Razor's electro sigils, which will be converted into elemental energy for him. The wolf within will fight alongside Razor for the skill's duration. Basically strikes alongside Razor's normal attacks, dealing electro damage, raises Razor's attack speed and electro resistance, causes Razor to be immune to damage inflicted by electro charge status, disables Razor's charged attacks, increases Razor's resistance to interruption. So there's a lot of things that kind of go along with this. These effects end when Razor leaves the battlefield. When Razor leaves the battlefield, a maximum of 10 energy will be returned to him based off the duration remaining on this skill. This is kind of one of the drawbacks of Razor in some respects. If you were hoping to do anything with him other than DPS, it's very, very difficult to do so. Because of the way his elemental burst works, it doesn't stay on the field. It's not like the Wolf Within will actually stay and deal damage alongside other DPS characters. Because it goes away, there's not really a big driving point of using Razor as anything other than a DPS. Hopefully there weren't too many people out there looking to do that anyways, but just in case there were, you only really want to build Razor as a DPS. So as you can see, the breakdown of all these, if you really do care, the Soul Companion is going to be doing, you know, X amount of attack based on your normal attack, which of course, as you level it up, it will go up as well. So very, very cool. We also have Awakening, which decreases Claw and Thunder's cooldown by 18%. Using Lightning Fang resets the cooldown of Claw and Thunder. So basically, as you use Claw and Thunder, and then you go into your Elemental Burst, if you basically use Claw and Thunder, Elemental Burst, you can then turn right around and immediately use Claw and Thunder again. So it's pretty cool. Then you have Hunger, which when Razor's energy is below 50%, it increases his energy recharge by 30%. So as you can kind of tell, there's a lot of things referred to his energy recharge, which just kind of helps him use his Elemental Burst as much as possible, which is it's extra damage. It's free damage on top of your normal attacks, which is just perfect. And then last but not least, we do have Woven Sprint, which decreases sprinting stamina consumption for your own party by 20%, non-stackable, stuff like that. So he's actually not that bad to put on a team for just kind of like running around exploring and doing your daily gatherings and stuff like that, because you can get extra, stamina just for having him in the party. So that's pretty cool. Now onto our constellations. So I actually do have Razor at 1/6, which is interesting. I completely forgot about that. So at level 1 on Constellation, we have Wolf's Instinct. Picking up an elemental orb or particle increases Razor's damage by 10% for a whole 8 seconds. So that's great because, more damage. Next, we actually have Suppression, which increases crit rate against enemies with less than 30% HP by 10%. So more damage. Then we have Soul Companion, which increases the level of Lightning Fang by 3. Pretty awesome. Bite, which actually when casting Claw and Thunder, when you press it, so your elemental skill when you just press it, enemies hit will have their defense decrease by 15% for 7 seconds, so more damage. And then we have Sharpened Claws, which increases the level of Claw and Thunder by 3, perfectly fine. And then at level 6, finally, level 6, if you are lucky enough to get here, every 10 seconds, Razor's Sword charges up, causing the next normal attack to release lightning that deals 100% of his attack just as electro damage. When Razor is not using Lightning Fang, a lightning strike on an enemy will grant Razor an electro sigil for Claw and Thunder. More damage. That's pretty much all this equates to. It's just a ton more damage. So it's actually really cool because not only is it going to do electro damage, which helps you, spark off more, pun intended, which helps you do more elemental reactions and things like that, but it also gives you an electro sigil, which will help you just output, more energy so that you can end up getting more elemental burst off, which in turn gives you more damage. So very, very nice. Now, when it comes to building Razor, this is actually pretty budget friendly. So not only is Razor a 4-star, but one of the best weapons for him, free to play wise, is a 3-star weapon. Now, it's not like by all means like the best weapon for him, but it will carry you for a long ways with no problems. Like the Debate Club is okay. Let's just go ahead and go over these. Let's do this. So for the most free to play option, what you would want to go with is the Debate Club. Now the Debate Club is basically going to increase attack. It's going to have an immense amount of attack being added to Razor, which is just already going to be what your main focus is anyways. But its passive is actually going to be after you use an elemental skill, normal or charged attack. On hit, it deals an additional 60% attack damage in a small area. It lasts for 15 seconds and damage can only occur every 3 seconds. So automatically, it's just a ton of extra damage. It's great. If you just prefer, you could use the Skyrider Greatsword, which in some respects could be decent because it actually has physical damage instead of attack percent. So the Skyrider Greatsword basically gonna increase physical damage percent, which is perfect, and on hit, normal or charged attacks increases attack by 6 seconds by 6% for 6 seconds. Max 4 stacks can occur once every half a second.
Future me here. So I went pretty in depth in this spreadsheet looking at the Debate Club versus the Skyrider Greatsword, and I think what I'm going to do is actually reserve this portion of the discussion for a separate video because it goes way further in depth than I really feel comfortable putting into this video. And if I'm being completely honest, I want to kind of familiarize myself a little bit more with the formula and the math behind it before I really try to make a concrete definitive answer on Debate Club versus Skyrider Greatsword. So what I plan to do is basically turn this into an entire video about which weapon just ultimately is the best numbers wise for Razor.
Definitely want to choose either the Debate Club or the Skyrider Greatsword. If you want more attack percent, of course, go with the Debate Club. If you want more physical damage, packed into your kit, then go with Skyrider Greatsword. So some less free-to-play friendly options. If you do actually spend some money, you could use the Battle Pass weapon, which is the Serpent Spine. Going to be increasing crit rate every 4 seconds. A character is on the field, they will deal 6% more damage and take 3% more damage. This effect has a maximum of 5 stacks and will not be reset if the character leaves the field, but will be reduced by 1 stack when the character does take damage. In the notes that I have here on the builds, the Serpent Spine becomes increasingly stronger as your attack stat increases, which could actually surpass the prototype Aminus, which is what we're going to talk about next. So the prototype Aminus is actually going to increase your attack percent on hit. Normal or charged attacks have a 50% chance to deal an additional 240% attack damage to enemies within a small AoE and can only occur once every 15 seconds. So what the notes were saying is that basically the Serpent Spine will eventually surpass the prototype Aminus once you get enough attack stat pumped into you. If you have a level 5 artifact on there, maxed out at level 20, and you have a ton of raw attack substats in your artifacts and stuff like that, the Serpent Spine will end up doing you better than prototype Aminus, but either one is perfectly fine. Prototype Aminus is a little bit more free to play friendly because you can just craft it, so there is that to keep in mind as well. And last but not least, if you do have the money to do it, of course, the Wolf's Gravestone is the boss to the Nos. So of course it is going to increase attack percent as well, increases attack by 20%, and on hit, attacks against enemies with less than 30% HP increase all party members' attack by 40% for 12 seconds and can occur only once every 30 seconds. So when it comes to artifacts, this is also pretty self-explanatory. The Gladiator's Finale is going to be the best option. It's going to give a lot more attack percent, which is perfectly great. And then it's going to give a ton more attack damage to your normal attack just because you are a Claymore user. That's, a no-brainer for a lot of things. Now, if you did want to go with something a little different, you could actually go with the Bloodstained Chivalry 2-piece. So you're going to get the physical damage plus 25%. This may make more sense if you're going with the Skyrider Greatsword because you can just add on extra physical damage percent. So I would actually be pretty interested to run some numbers on this and see if that would actually make more sense. And you could also run that, a 2-piece, with the Thundering Fury 2-piece, so you get the electro damage bonus as well. So when you're using your E and your elemental burst, your skill and your burst are just going to do more electro damage, which is perfectly fine. Now, typically, whenever you are worrying about your substats, typically you want to prioritize, crit rate, crit damage is always super important. Getting the crit rate or crit damage on your headpiece is always, a top priority. But with Razor, always keep in mind that the physical damage is going to be super important because just being a Claymore user in general, physical damage is going to be huge for Razor. So on your cup, your goblet, however you want to refer to it, try to go for that physical damage buff if you can. Now, in terms of your talent priorities, how you would want to kind of keep those leveled up. With a DPS, it's usually pretty self-explanatory. You want to start out with your normal attack, keep that as high as possible. Then go for your Lightning Fang because you'll actually end up doing some normal attacks alongside of Lightning Fang because of the Wolf Within. And then you can kind of focus on Claw and Thunder after that, just to have it. So, I actually don't even know if the demonstration is really that important when I do these, because unless I actually have the character leveled up to a sizable level, I don't feel like I can really showcase it to I can't really do it justice. I can go jump into the Abyss really quick and we can take a look at one of the earlier floors just because it would make a little bit more sense. Now, something to keep in mind, of course, is I'm only level 50. I don't have the greatest artifacts. Somebody that was talking about my official being really underpowered at level 80. I tried to explain in that video that, I was working on switching over artifacts. But nonetheless, just keep in mind that this is more to show you what the actual moves look like and not trying to show off, my Razor because it's not that great. Anyways, so we have our charged attack. We have our normal attack. And you can see the 4-hit, he slams that Debate Club down, which is super cool. We have our E, which he can hit there. Now we'll do a charged one here, or a one where we hold it. See, he throws it down, does a lot more damage. And we will pop that Q and do damage there. And you can see the Wolf Within shows up and he just does extra damage on top. You can see our white damage is in the 600-ish when we crit. Looks like it's in the mid 400s. Yeah, mid-ish 400s. But our electro damage when we crit is pretty high. It's almost in the thousands, which is, it's nice. It's not amazing or anything. Dude, this guy is, I'm gonna murder you. Go away, please. Thank you. Anyways. Oh, there's another one over there. That's pretty much Razor, guys. I think he's a super fun character to play with. I love his design. I love the fact that he has the wolf within. I think it's just a super cool thing altogether. And the fact that he can pair with any of the cryo users and do the superconduct is just, it's amazing. Just remember, whenever you go into your queue, it does disable your charged attack, so you can't swing the sword and the wolf within at the same time, because I always seem to forget that. So anyways, that's pretty much Razor. Super cool. One of the best things about him is he's super budget friendly. I love the fact that, you know, he's not somebody that, you know, has to have a 5-star weapon to do really good. He of course excels with those things, but it's not like it makes him bad if he doesn't have like a decent weapon. Like, it's just, I don't know, Razor's just one of those, like, easily, like, if you invested in Razor, then I don't think you're gonna have a problem at all. As you can see, I don't have him built in any sort of fashion whatsoever, and he still does me fine on, you know, the higher level Abyss floors where I just need a little bit extra DPS every now and then. He's not, I definitely don't use him to his max potential, and I'm kind of embarrassed about it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thanks so much for watching. Of course, we'll do another poll after this. We'll see what you guys think of the next 4. I'm probably going to include a 5-star in it, just because I want to do like every other poll with 1 5-star and multiple 4 stars. But I think the only 5-star that we haven't covered is, I just got Child, and we have Venti as well. So I don't have too many more of these I can make. I have Kaching on a second account, but we've already talked about her. So yeah. Thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah. See ya.